Everyone has their typical morning routine, whether it's eating breakfast or heading to the gym to get their day started. But some had a really unique way on how to get their day started. Max, 15-year-old city kid, started his days a little different. He would get up at 3 a.m. to drive out to his uncle's ranch to get the day started on the field. This wasn't the typical interest of a 15-year modern-age kid that lived in the city. Kids these days are glued to their iPads and electronics and even worry the least about farm life and agriculture. But Max had an odd passion for it. Over time, Max did research on how to grow his own food by watching his uncle over the years. He wasn't really into processed foods that much and always had a conscious feeling when eating regular everyday foods. But one strange morning when arriving at his uncle's farm, Max saw his uncle sitting on the couch watching TV without any socks on. His feet were as white as can be, as if he hadn't moisturized in weeks. Max didn't think much of it in this moment, until he reached the kitchen. His uncle was getting older, and things were becoming harder for him to do. He usually kept tidy around the house, but this particular day, he didn't quite get to it, and Max discovered the meats and foods all from the city in the kitchen processed. None from the farm. He didn't question his uncle on the article foods he had found. "Hey, Uncle Tommy, what are all these foods and packages? Certain brands?" Uncle Tommy looked at him and said, "Uh-oh. Just some leisure food, you know? Nothing too handful." Max looked out at the farm and nothing new was growing outside of what he already planted. "Have you done any work on the farm lately?" Max asked. "I'll get to it," Uncle Tommy said. Max continued to look concerned, but he let time pass and ignored the situation. 6 months later, his uncle had a heart attack and died in his sleep. Uncle Tommy had lost his ability to do a lot of physical activities due to his poor diet over a period of years, making his energy weaker and weaker. He was diagnosed with diabetes, but instead of doctor visits, he decided to treat himself, thinking he could heal himself. But the disease was only getting worse for him over the years, and his eating habits didn't help. When Max turned 21, he decided to acquire his uncle's farm and take over. He told himself he would continue to grow his own food and keep up with the farm as much as he possibly can, even if he had to hire people to help him when he reached old age. One thing his uncle did was give him overtime. Max knew there may have been some underlying effects or things his uncle may have been going through that he didn't address or tell anyone. In his eyes, he saw this man that wanted to escape the hustle and rush of the city, a man that valued his health and the simpler things of life, until something happened that made him lose hope. Max knew he probably would never find out what was really going on with his uncle and what ultimately happened that led him to stop caring about his overall health. But the least he can do for him is keep up with something he loved in his honor. He just wished he was able to tell him sooner that he cared.